Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Intentional Living Podcast. Marty Keller here in Sacramento with John Donovan in lovely Oceanside, California, and our regular special guest, Dan Gutierrez, also coming to us from an undisclosed location in Sacramento.
Top secret.
Top secret. Good to see you, Dan. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you, Marty.
Glad to see you, Marty. John.
Understand, Dan, you have some new insights you'd like to share with us.
I do.
How about you take it away?
Okay. So in the last 6 to 8 months, my ability to be in tune with my body and to be able to understand what it's been trying to communicate to me my entire life has culminated in last week, where I had the experience of actually feeling safe with another human being, I think for the first time in my life. It was such a profound experience. I mean, it just brought tears to my eyes. And in the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to, I've been looking back at my life, and what I've concluded is that my entire life is spent trying to achieve this state of where I feel safe inside myself and with another human being.
Wow.
From my addictions to my ADHD to my avoidance, to my drug addiction, to my high risk behavior, to my thrill seeking. Those were all attempts at not the ADHD, but that's a developmental disorder. I'll call it that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it resounds in my body when I say, when I was in my addiction, what was I trying to do? I was trying to feel safe within myself, and putting a substance in that allowed me not to focus on what was really happening, allowed me to feel safe in the moment. And but having those things, external substances, external stimulation, all those have consequences. But when I have the ability to create safety in myself, then I can be safely with other people, and I can have the relationships that I want to have. How I came about this is that I watched a video from Gabor Mate, and he said that human beings are the only creatures on the planet that are born with the need to have a safe attachment to fully develop as a human being.
Wow.
And without having that ability to feel safe or be safe, my mother was born in World War II. She was German. She married an American. She left her homeland, got pregnant, and my father wasn't around much during the pregnancy. So I was born in a womb that was filled with cortisol, fear, stress hormones. So that's how I got my start. So unbeknownst to any of this, you know, and my attachment modality with my mother was an insecure one. And the experience of never feeling safe creates issues. Not feeling safe, how I came to the word safe rather than the absence of fear. Absence of fear is not safety. Absence of threat is not safety. I spent my life trying to create less stress. And I just came across that the other day. How do you, if I'm a creative human being, a manifesting machine, how can I create less of something? It's impossible. I can only create more of something else.
Wow.
So my perception my entire life is to avoid fear and this feeling of unease in my body. And I've labeled that fear. So I focused my entire life on trying to get rid of fear. And we have a principle that says the quality of my life is determined by the focus of my attention. If I'm looking for fear everywhere, I will find it. I will not see anything else. So it's like, wow. What do I want to create? I want to create safety. I intend to be safe with myself and others. And it's an amazing thing to watch myself instinctively have behaviors to create safety with my partner. All my relationships have been fraught with cues of threat. My codependency, where I got to do everything for the other person, and if I don't, the relationship's going to end. Those are cues of fucking threat. My body's in a fight or flight mode all the time. If I miss something, I'm gonna be booted. And I want this so much that I'm not gonna miss anything. That's not safety. That's living under threat. And it's no wonder my body would not allow me to engage with my partners. My mind says yes, but my body's going, no, don't do it. This is not good for you. You know that. And next thing you know, I'm being sarcastic. I'm doing things, and the next thing you know, the relationship's over. And it's like, but what I've learned is that that biological imperative to have a human being born into an environment where secure attachment, if that happens, all the developmental things that I will need will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Gabor Mate says it's like your eyes. If you covered the child's eyes for a year and then take the blindfold off, the child will be blind for the rest of its life, because the optic nerve requires light for it to develop. These circuits in our brain, mine, the ability to self-regulate, didn't get developed. My impulse regulation didn't get developed.
Frustration tolerance.
All that.
Yeah.
And it could, because I grew up in a high stress environment, another way to say that is an environment where I don't feel safe. I'm constantly fearing a threat. So having seen this or having this awareness now, I just look back and I can see how it's all played out together.
Yep.
And here I'm gonna, what allowed me to get to this point is the accountability practice. I've been on a relentless pursuit of radical accountability to generate information. You guys probably remember when I joked, I even called you up and I go, you know, I figured out the solution to the problem. All I got to know is what I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the way to figure out what you don't know is through the use of the accountability practice.
Yeah.
And the information that you're looking for is revealed by owning your truth, the current reality, where you find yourself, feel what you're feeling. Here again, it's if you do this long enough, it all falls together.
Yeah.
You can see why it works the way it does. And it's not, it's not understanding that 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. It's like the first time I did that, and it was like, I get 3 pieces of candy. 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 equals 3 pieces of candy. That's fucking real. Like, yeah, this works. I like this. Teach me more. So I'm just, I'm able to see the things that I thought were problems in my life. Now I can see them. When I'm calm, when I'm not at an 8 or 9, I don't take things personally. I have that time to hear something and not react to it. I make better decisions when I'm calm. That's a new experience for me.
Yep.
And it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a question that might put you on the spot?
Sure.
Okay. Because I've been with you on this journey. I was there at the beginning and I'm here now. So could you just like remember the first time you met me and the state of being you were in? And then I asked you what you wanted that you didn't have. I don't know if you remember what that is. Whatever it was, you are now experiencing it. You talked about the accountability process, saying the truth of where I find myself. An example for me would, when I'm acting mean, just simply owning I'm mean without an excuse or a story. I'm mean. And that's what we're talking about, accountability with no blame or judgment. And that allowed me to experience a feeling, what it feels like to be an emotion. I'm mean is my truth at the moment, although I didn't want it to be the truth. I resisted it. And I owned it. And I owned, another way to say this is character defects. And then I said, I intend to be kind, or I intend to be gracious. What I'm looking for is like a snapshot of first impression, and then where you see yourself today. I don't know. As I say, I'm putting you on the spot because this is all spontaneous. We didn't like decide what we're going to say when we started, but or your version of what you're hearing me say.
What I remember most was when you said, when you didn't want something from me,
Yeah.
try to coerce me into doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I can look back at it, that feeling, that was a feeling of safety.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's like, I didn't realize it at the time, but my body did, because it wasn't trying to defend itself against anything.
Right.
I felt safe enough to be able to listen to what you were saying, even though I didn't understand it.
Right.
But my body did. And I couldn't, yeah, well, as you remember, I kept coming to all the groups I possibly could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't judge any of us. It was like, it was a shock, literally a shock. It's like, he doesn't want anything. He doesn't care about where we're at, what we're doing. I wasn't the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was okay for me to do what I was doing. Yeah, that's what safety is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told you this before, and what our relationship has been, or I see it as modeled, is a secure attachment.
Yeah.
I don't know, how many times I've called you frantic, and oh, I fucked up, and oh, Jesus Christ, and what the fuck's wrong with me, and after we had dialogue and so on and so on, at the end of it, it's like, that's what I didn't get as a child.
Right.
I didn't get that secure attachment.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if very many people do, but it's just all the pieces have come together for me in my life. Is that that's where I need to be. I need to be in this. I need to have a secure, safe attachment with myself for me to develop and grow further.
Yes. Wow.
And yay,
Yeah. And what I want to say for people listening is that's what these groups are for. If they come to a group, they're not going to be judged or something said, so they need to defend something or be blamed for anything. They will simply, they will immerse themselves in a safe place, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know my intent as a facilitator is to create that energetic space where there's no judgment, no blame, no expectation, no qualification for being here. You do this and you're good. No, it is what it is. And what do you want? Wow.
Yeah.
So, and if I can say, and laud you and Marty is that you now have created that capacity to create that for others.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'd like to pipe up here and add something to ask Dan if you've even noticed this. So as people watching the podcast know, or if you're here for the first time, we started a new group, which we call the Gut Check Group, and it's taking a look at applying accountability practice to physical health. And as I was listening to your description of your experience of feeling calm and calling that safety, it occurred to me that you're also giving your body a whole new experience by lowering stress levels and giving your body the capacity to just flow the way it's designed to flow.
Yeah.
So it's to me, what I'm starting to understand in this new group is that the psychological and spirit and physical are utterly two dimensions of the same thing.
They're the same. Yeah, they are the same thing.
So when I find myself feeling calm, at ease, serene, peaceful, my body is also, it's not just, it feels it in my body's stress and cortisol levels are reducing. So that allows the circulation of nervous energy, blood, lymphatic nodes, all the stuff to just be able to do its thing without my mind obstructing it through creating stress. So it's like we go from a vicious cycle to a virtuous cycle here.
I like that, Marty. Wow. Vicious cycle to a virtual. Wow. Wow. Yes.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's when I got married, I thought that my soon-to-be wife, I was in love with her, and how I made the assessment of how I was in love with her, the description was every time I got around her, I had butterflies in my stomach. I associated that with being in love. About 2 months ago, or yeah, 2 months ago, I watched the Stephen Porges video, and he goes, somebody was talking, and they described that having butterflies in their stomach, and he goes, "Do you know what that is?" And the gentleman goes, "No." He goes, "That's your body going into a state of threat. It's shutting off the diaphragmatic portion of your body. That's the blood being cut off to your lower intestines. That's what you're feeling." And it's like, yeah, I've got love confused with fear. Or
Wow,
love
man.
confused with threat, unsafety, not safe, not feeling safe.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
Hypervigilance.
how did that manifest? It manifested perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes so much sense. So my drug of choice were stimulants. What do they give people, children or people who have ADHD? Stimulant. If you calm down, you feel safe.
Yep.
That's why people, they have their drugs of choice, whether it be alcohol, opiates. They're pain relief, not necessarily. They're emotional, psychological pain relief, so they can have fun and enjoy their lives, to feel safe for the moment, that they're not feeling threatened, or the world is not pushing in on them. Yeah, it's just amazing to look at it, see it.
Yeah.
And that's the biological imperative, is to be and have a homeostasis. Have your body, your mind be in that range of conditions, so it can all work together. So you can have an autoimmune, or have your immune system function the way it's supposed to, rather than be in a stressed environment or a fearful environment where your brain shuts off the autoimmune system because it's not necessary to deal with the threat in front of us, or perceived threat.
Right.
And is it any wonder that we have problems, health problems? No, it's not a mystery.
It really is not a mystery.
Yeah, and so I was experiencing, 2 or 3 days where I wasn't feeling anxiety, or I wasn't feeling the sense of that things were unsafe. My eating habits fell back into line. I wasn't drinking crazy amounts of coffee, right? Stimulant. And just to watch it, I'm just watching myself, and it's like, what's going on? And then the light bulb goes on. You're not stressed. You're not feeling threatened. You feel safe in your environment. So there's no need to calm yourself down with external things. So then it becomes the opportunity to go, oh, why am I thinking about eating all day long? Oh, light bulb. I'm not feeling safe. There's something going on that I'm not aware of consciously. But my body's trying to calm itself down.
Right.
And it's like, wow, there's back to the principles. There's nothing wrong. At this point now, I have an insight into the ability to pay attention to my body, notice what's happening, notice where I'm at, and it's just like, okay, I've been getting these signals all my life, but I just haven't had the fucking ability to read it or understand it.
Right.
I had to learn the instruction manual for my body through trial and error. And there's nothing wrong. Yeah, what do I want? I intend to be safe with myself and others. Yeah, yeah. To me now that I understand this, it seems obvious,
Yeah.
So I have a lot of compassion for myself. That's where I started, was with compassion. I'm not the problem. I'm the solution, and I give myself permission to not achieve what I think I should. All these shoulds and have tos, those are, got to throw those out. It's just a wonderful feeling to have an insight and apply it and watch the results. That's self-validation, self-actualization. And it's just so. I am not the problem. I am not the
You're not the problem. I got something to say to you, Daniel. Welcome home. Welcome home, my friend.
Thank you. And one thing about somebody who doesn't have the ability to know when they feel safe, or they don't even know if they're in a safe environment because they're always looking for threat. So even if they are, they don't know it. And what's worse, they don't know if they're in an unsafe environment.
Right.
This is good stuff, man. I mean, this is really good, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yeah, it's good and exciting.
Mhm.
So I was thinking, my partner here was going, you seem a little nervous. And I go, yeah, I know. Why are you feeling nervous? I'm trying to figure it out. And it's like, this is the condition that I've always been in. Anytime I go to do something, I have viewed it as an opportunity to fail. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, let's yeah. I intend to see work as an opportunity for success, an opportunity to create safety and connection. Fuck yeah, let's go do that.
Mhm.
And I can feel the way I feel, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
It's almost embarrassingly simple.
Yeah. Once you get there, it's like, oh my God, how come I didn't think about this earlier?
And that's our journey. Everyone has their journey to get here.
Mhm.
I mean, how did it's like, well, I had to go through having an addiction, failed relationships, going to jail, leading a life as a criminal, being a drug dealer, a drug addict. Those were the things that I had to go through and learn about so I could get to this point. Those were my textbooks that I had to live through, take notes, and write about, and have that experience. And everybody has their journey.
Everybody has their journey. Absolutely.
And thankfully, I had the people, all the everybody that has been in my life that's been a mentor, has allowed me to get to this point. Supported me with that. And I don't know if I would have had the capacity to understand or even know which way to go if I hadn't had those experiences. Meeting you in jail.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I remember you saying that, we honor everybody's journey. We're not here to change their path.
No.
Their path is perfect the way it is, and they can choose which way to go.
Mhm.
I just want to be there to offer people the information that I received and give people a choice or a different. This is not the way it's always has to be.
Right.
Would you be willing to consider? Yeah. Would you be willing to consider that you're in a belief system and you don't even know it? Yeah. And violence too, why people, or why I perpetrated violence was all based on trying to create safety for myself
Yeah.
in a convoluted way, You're loving me too much. I don't feel safe. So get the fuck back. Or I won't call you anymore. Or I'll get you to fucking tell me, get rid of me, and then I'll blame you.
Right.
So along those lines, I'd like to share an experience I had this week. And Dan, you heard this Monday night. I shared this with the group Monday night. But I'd like to share it with you, John, and the brothers and sisters watching this. I had in the gut check meeting, I came up with an intention a couple of weeks ago. So I intend to experience the healing power of love. And just as Dan, you've been on a quest to appreciate safety, I'm on a quest to appreciate love, and I suspect they're intimately connected. And so I'm sitting on my couch Monday during the day, and 4 times I got a spam call. And 4 times the spam caller left a voicemail, so I had to check the voicemail to see if I missed anything. And when the 4th one came in, I sat there and I said, I really hate this shit. I really hate these damn spam calls. And immediately after I said that, I heard a voice in my head say, is this really what you want? Is this really how you want to feel? And I thought, no, I don't. So what do I want? So I want to feel at ease and serene. And then it occurred to me to set this intention. I intend to love my spam calls. And so we talked about this last night in the Thursday night Rusty Nail meetings. Like, what if I would take everything that shows up that I traditionally have said, I don't like that, I hate it, I condemned it, I criticized it, and I set an intention to love it. So for me, this is like going, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but this is like going past safety to something even with a greater embrace. It's like I intend to see love coming at me from every direction. So maybe it's a way that I create safety proactively. Like, if what's coming at me I see as love, then there's no such thing as threat.
Well, to add to that is that the conditioning we've had is that's in the mind, and for me, it's operating from that standpoint of everything is a threat, and so no matter what I see, there's an opportunity for failure, and the mission statement is I have to be perfect all the time, because if I fail once, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the mindset for me, right? The environment is the environment, comes through my mind, filters, and how my mind perceives the environment, it in turn creates the internal drugstore to match that environment. So my body's in a state of threat because I think there's a threat outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
It has to gear up, adrenaline, all these things. And if that's a constant state for me, I never get to take time out. I never get to relax. I never let my body come down. Do the healing, do the repair, do the restoring. Allow me to be with someone else who can co-regulate me, who can literally, when I feel safe and I let somebody stroke my hand or my arm, I just sitting there and I'm going to allow this. And the next thing you know, I'm calm. I feel connected. I want to touch them. And it's like light bulb goes off. This is co-regulation right here. This is what I didn't get as a child.
Right.
And it's like, I get to do that now. When I feel, for me, I just say it's like when that's the experience I have when I can feel safe I set the intention. I intend to be safe in loving arms. And now it's happened. And yes, creating the intention to see based on our experiences. I think the words may differ, but the physiological manifestations of these intentions are the same. And each one of our intentions, you know, is specifically designed for each other or ourselves.
Mhm.
Because when I say the word safe, you know, we as human beings, we have language, and then safe comes up as a narrative, a story. For me, that's the only, so far, that's been the descriptor of what I feel when I'm calm and not defending. That's my experience, and that's, you know, that's what I use the word safe to describe because it resonates in me. 8 months ago, I'm standing in the living room running around in a circle because the tension, I don't know what's going on with me. And that's when I discovered, you know, I asked myself, what do you want? What do you want? And there was no hesitation. I blurted out, safety. I want to be fucking safe.
Mhm.
It's in there.
Yeah. And it's accessed through this desire for something, recognizing there's something I don't have. What do I want that I don't have? And then for me, it was getting the explanation of the mechanism inside me that kept me going to a behavior I said I didn't want. And then instead of beat myself up for going to that behavior, I just simply owned the behavior without blame or judgment. Not that it didn't have a feeling attached to it, hurt, sadness, disappointment, fear, anger, and setting in that, whatever the emotion, like I'm mean to the point of cruelty, was my truth based on where it came from. It was mean to the point of cruelty was in alignment with the trauma. So a traumatized, wounded child grew up to be a man who wanted to keep people away from him. And my best option was mean and cruelty, being mean and cruel. Because it did that, it kept people away from me. Although when you were talking, there was a term I wanted to inject here, is that I normalized that behavior. This is who I am. This is normal. And so there was no impetus to look any other place except to control everything in my environment, to make sure I was, and that was my job, is to make sure everybody was okay. Nobody was in a feeling that was like anger or fear. And I was hyperactive in fixing things. which created the sense of unsafety that I was trying to, and I didn't even have that word in my vocabulary. I want to be safe. That was like, you look at me, 250-pound, 6-foot guy, what's he not going to be safe about? I mean, it's like, and the environment I was in was with my ex-wife and my children. So it would be ridiculous for me to say I don't feel safe. And yet the behaviors, when I own them, pointed to that. I feel insecure. I feel worthless. And that's in alignment with my childhood treatment, my attachment disorder. You said insecure, mine was avoidant. It's like I'd get close and then I'd back away. And then I'd do everything to get close just to back away again. And I'd do get close and back away, which was confusing to me, to say the least, and to the person I was in a relationship with. And yet, for the most part, their attachment disorder matched my attachment disorder. So we did this dance. There was a book called Dance of Anger, Dance of Attachment Disorders. It's like, and neither one of us knew what was really going on. I mean, it's obvious that it's either her or me, and sometimes both, or mostly her, or not always mostly me, because I'm such a nice guy, don't you know? I'm trying real hard to fix her, and she's not.
Not
She's
open.
not grateful. She's not grateful. It's like, and I had no idea that there was any other option open to me until I owned my character defects without blame or judgment. And you received that in the room with me. I received that in rooms with other people where I could just say my truth and nobody chastised, humiliated. They just simply heard it and said, yeah, me too. Welcome, welcome. And that's the feeling I had, is welcome home. I felt like I found a new home, although I couldn't express that at the beginning. And I created a new family of loving, caring, compassionate individuals. And I slowly moved out of my hyper awareness, hyper vigilant defense mode into this proactive, self-actualized, able to be with myself. And actually I grew to like who I was, which was, I remember looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I turned out pretty well. And it was, I don't know if anybody ever does this alone. My wounding came in the presence of people, and necessarily my healing began and continued, and I'm going to use the word fructified, came to fruition, came to fruit in the presence of other people. And that's what we're doing with the intentional living accountability information, is creating groups where people can come, and whether they feel safe or they don't, I create the safety. They experience it and they have an opinion of it, or they don't have an opinion of it, they don't know, or they do know. My job is to create this container, hold the space for them to simply be hurt or cry or wonder, or to experience themselves in their emotional deregulation and not be frustration, intolerance, wanting it now, delayed gratification, instant gratification, and not be judged. Oh, okay, yeah, I see you're hurting. I see you. Yeah, I see. So, wow, what a powerful time we're having here. It's like, wow, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I am
Thank you,
too.
Daniel. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Daniel. Wow.
It's a strange thing that you know, the trauma was experienced with other humans, and the healing happens in the company of humans.
Yes.
And until I became aware enough of my behavior to the point where I could trust myself to be in connection with somebody else, the healing couldn't happen.
Mhm.
And it's not crazy or anything like that. It's just it's one of those things that's conditioned in that, you know, from day one, that it's my fault. The way I behave is my fault. And okay, you're telling me I'm not supposed to be any information about how to create that. And as a child, I can't do that. I don't know how to do these things. And yet the expectation is there over and over and over again. And then it's not any wonder how these techniques, childhood adaptations come about.
Yep.
I mean, I have a hard time talking to people, you know. My partner asks a lot of questions, and you know, and it's just like I watch myself literally get. It's like, you know, what are you asking me questions for? I don't say it, but it's like, why are you? You know, and then it dawns on me, this is not an interrogation. I'm not being interrogated here.
Right. Yeah.
This is not what I'm responding to the present moment like it's the past. And it's like, what's happening here? All she wants to do is get information about me so she can connect to me.
Yep.
She's trying to create safety for herself.
Yep.
So I give myself permission to feel activated when I get asked questions about how my day was and what went on in my life.
Yep.
I intend to create safety for myself and others.
Well, you could also consider setting an intention to experience what she says as love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the
And
awareness.
see what happens.
She asks questions, and I realize she's not interrogating me.
No.
How else can somebody gather information about you other than asking questions?
Showing an interest. Yes. Showing an interest and being
Yeah.
curious. One of the things I talk about is that for me, it was the most difficult thing for me to do was answer a question. And then I use the example of the question, where the hell have you been? And my response to that used to be, don't talk to me like that. Who do you think I am? You can't, I provide the money. I got into this big argument. And I was always looking for a long-term loving, caring relationship. Well, in a long-term loving, caring relationship, you might hear the question from a concerned partner that loves you, where the hell have you been? So now when I hear that question, it's a validation of love. And I go, oh, let me tell you where I've been. I see you're concerned. I see you're worried about me. And I talk, it's like, what? So that thing that I saw as the thing that was attacking was actually what I was looking for.
Huh.
oh yeah, you don't know when you don't, yeah. If it's in the present, yeah, even if it's there, you can't see it.
Right, exactly. That's why that's the subconscious means you don't know. Although it's active in your decision making, it's active in your reaction responses, although you don't know what that is. And the way we've discovered in intentional living and accountability tree is simply own the end result behavior without blame or judgment, because that is in alignment with what happened to you as a child. And that whatever you say is your truth, character defect, is significant and uniquely yours. You have a frequency marker for that. And then when you say it, it goes into your pool of information, validates, yes, that happened to me. This is not conscious. And then I hear myself say, I'm mean to my cruelty. It is my intent to be kind. And it's the alchemic chamber turning lead. I don't want to admit I'm mean. Oh my God, I'm mean. Oh, it is my intent to be kind into the gold. And it's all an internal, you might put it, hermetic process, internal. And it's, wow. And people are witnessing the end result of that process. I feel safe. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody's doing anything different. Nobody had to like get hit the bullet point thing and get checked off on all the bullet points about what it is to be a good person, including myself. There's no expectation. It's just, it's always been there. I haven't been able to see it.
Yeah. That's what we do with the I do with the I am statement. I have a group on Wednesday that I do, and I have them do that I am statement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get going, and sometimes I work with somebody, and they really get activated. You know, they're really going at it and crying and stuff. And so then I just ask them, and I go, "Who are you?" And then they repeat it.
Right.
And usually what qualities that they didn't think or possessed, they thought they had, but in that moment when they're going through their stuff,
Yep.
it's usually in alignment with with what the I am a compassionate, loving, nurturing man, or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, in this moment, that's who you're being to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's exciting when that happens. It's exciting, and I don't know, it's validating, an emotionally validating experience for them and me.
Right. It's a spiritual experience.
Mm. Yes, it is.
Yes. It is.
And it just might be an experience of love.
Yes.
There you go. Cool. God, it just seems like an hour flies by, doesn't it?
This one did.
Dang it.
Dang it. Well, we'll just have to have you come back, Dan.
Well, I intend to, because I feel loved, and I feel safe. It gives me the experience that I've been longing for all my life. Literally all my life.
Literally all of your life. Wow.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Or thanks for allowing me.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for being able to join us from that undisclosed location.
That's right.
So before we wrap up, I want to remind those of you who are listening, whether it's the first time or you've been following us for a while, we'd love to have you check out one of our meetings. John talked about the power of learning about ourselves in the group where we have compassionate, enlightened witnesses, and that's what our meetings provide. We have meetings Monday night, 6:30, Tuesday afternoon, 4:30, Wednesday afternoon, 4, Thursday evening, 6:30 p.m., Saturday morning at 8:30. All of these are Pacific time. They're all on Zoom. And if you'd like to join us, send John or me an email. Our email address will be on the card at the end of the podcast, and we'll be happy to send you the URLs for the Zoom meetings. So as always, thanks again, Dan. And as always, we leave the last word to John.
I don't have one. It's like, well, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Marty, for being part of this journey with me. I love you both.
Love you too, John.
Mhm.
Love you, Dan.
You too. Cool.
Okay,
All right, see you guys at the next one.
you got it.
There we go.